Cleaning Nation, welcome to another episode of the Grow My Cleaning Company podcast. As always, I want to start the show by thanking you for being amazing human beings. You guys do so good by subscribing, rating, reviewing, buying the book on Amazon. I'm a freaking genius. Why is this business so hard? All the cool stuff that you do. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Welcome to 2018. Today, you are getting two for the price of, well, zero because this is free, but two kind of for the price of one. We are talking with Zack and Shanna from Siskiyou Services. Don't worry, we will discover what that means and why I'm not going to make huge fun of them. They're in Montague, California with commercial cleaning services. If you want to reach out to Zack and Shanna, you get a hold of them at www.siskiyou.services. Yes, we'll pick on them for that. Siskiyou is S-I-S, just the letter Q, unexpectedly, .services, no .com, just Siskiyou.services. Zack, Shanna, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Good morning.
Good morning. And yes, everyone watching the YouTube channel, Zack and I have already discussed the video should just be of Shanna, but I figured, we don't want to be sexist, or maybe there's some girls out there that Zack and I don't completely repulse. So if that's the case, hello, thank you. Everyone else look at Shanna, and Zack and I are sorry in advance for our...
We'll try to blend.
Yeah, we'll try. Yeah. I've got this nice backlit wall. I can't hide. You guys are a little more blendy than not. And kudos again for Shanna. We do every guest. I'm like, hey, if you want to do video, it's better. We can look at each other. Right. People can meet you. All the guys are like, yeah, sure. I don't care. Whatever. And the girl's like, whoa. What time I need to make? Yeah. Shauna's like, I look good. I woke up. I'm fine. She's had her coffee. Life's good. So
there's a few cups of coffee on board. So that
I can tell you look like you got a 2 coffee buzz. I'm only sporting a 1 coffee buzz, so I don't drive everyone insane.
Try to stay one.
And everyone on the podcast, Shauna's a girl, Zack's a boy, as am I. Zack and I are solid 6. Shauna's a good-looking female, so that's what we're talking about. I don't know why, but here we. Yeah, sure. If you're tuning in to learn about how to grow a cleaning company, go. Oh, I'm clearly in the wrong spot. Sadly, no. This is the ridiculous show that
I even brushed my teeth this morning. So.
Oh, now see, I wish I hadn't said that.
Tell the podcast listeners.
Well, the problem is I don't like lying, and I have not brushed my teeth, and I had coffee, so I've really got a bad vibe going on. And I'm looking at you, so it's weird because my prehistoric brain is like, they can smell my bad breath. Like, I know obviously you can't, but anyway, so now we know
right.
Shauna's minty fresh, Mike smells like a coffee can, and Zack is wise enough to say nothing, so we'll just have to...
I'm just banking on the fact that Mike's listeners are primarily listeners at this point, not so much watchers. So.
Or even the viewers, I think I'll have to check with YouTube's terms of service, but I don't know that the breath necessarily translates. Just
not yet.
The visual, yeah. And I think some of the podcasts are going to, I got to go check out this. And they're going to be wildly disappointed. Like, it's just 3 idiots looking at the camera.
Exactly.
Well, 2 idiots and Shanna. Sorry. No offense intended. All right. So just in case, like I said, you did tune in not to talk about hygiene, but to talk about growing a cleaning business. I guess at some point we should get around to that. So yeah, tell us about how you got into the business, how it can help, what's shaking in your world, and I'll go brush my teeth while I listen.
All right, perfect.
Well, yeah, I mean, I started out pretty young as a preteen. I was walking the neighborhood with a weed eater and a push mower going door to door.
And for everyone not on the video, I'm talking to an embryo. So Zack says he started out young, like he's old now. He started out young and has continued to be young. So
yeah, everybody needs to understand that. You're right.
Yeah, borderline. Yeah. With a hand tool, but no, I was raised.
Yeah, if he has to borrow a cigarette from me, I don't know that I could legally comply. I'm not making any dispersions. I'm just that's the visual I'm getting.
I am noticeably lacking in facial hair at this point, but I'm expecting that to turn around here in the near future.
I'm 43 years old, and for those looking, this is like a week's worth of growth, and I have 4 hairs. It's a sad state. So some of us...
There's no hope for him then.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure that...
Well, it depends. You might have better genes. Sean, on the other hand, sporting a very full... No, just kidding.
Right? Yeah. You'll get some viewers for sure, though.
Yeah. The bearded lady, I had no clue. I got to check it. Then they're going to be pissed, too. Like, this chick looks normal. There's no hair.
Right.
Or they'll look at me and go, that's the ugliest looking girl I've ever seen. But man, she has some facial hair working. So facial hair for a 44-year-old man or 43-year-old man, not that good. But for, whatever you're for a female, I'm not bad.
Nicely.
All right. So again, I don't know why I cannot stop talking about hygiene and facial stuff today. So I don't promise. I'll try harder to shut up. You keep going about what's going on in your world.
It totally works.
Yeah. So young as in a preteen, 11, 12 years old.
Sure.
We lived in a rural area even at that time. relative to an urban area, that is. And so I was able to just go door to door without too much concern of getting kidnapped or otherwise. And the weed eater's a pretty good deterrent in that regard. So by the time I was 16 or 17, I got the driver's license, got the small pickup, got it signed up as a admittedly illegitimate business, and started pulling some pretty decent earnings for a 17-year-old. Got intimidated by the idea of running a full-scale business with workman's comp and liability insurance, so on and so forth, as a young adult, and kind of went the route of a traditional job working for another company as an employee, which is when Shauna and I met years ago. We were both in that position working for another company, and realized after some years together doing that it wasn't appropriate for us, and it wasn't fulfilling for us. It didn't allow for the lifestyle that we were after. And so I quickly dropped out of that career. And Shauna is still has significantly dropped her hours, but both to accommodate self-employment that we're hoping to turn into a small business that would hopefully turn into a large business. And
so what we got so far sounds like Zach's been kind of semi-self-employed through childhood, which is such a theme of a lot of the entrepreneurs I know. And it just so you guys know that's not a prerequisite. My entrepreneurial spirit didn't wake up till I was like 19, but a lot of the guys I know and gals, all sorts of stuff. Like they had actual decent sized businesses when they were, I don't say kids, but under 18. So that's super cool. Zach's now full-time in the business. Shauna, trying to be full-time, part-time, but it has a part-time job that she's got to do. Okay. Right. So one quick thing you guys didn't ask, but I can't help myself. Sounds like you're together, correct?
Yes.
Okay, not married.
No.
Correct.
Okay, and I won't say yet because then one of you is going to give the other a dirty look, and I don't know. Right. I don't even want to get into that. Like, someone's going to be like,
but maybe I'll get some props. I'll get some props now because people are going to be like, yeah, what the heck? Yeah.
If you guys are, no offense to my friend Zach, but you're similar to me and my wife. Like, look at me and they look at her and they're like, that guy must have money or because what is with him? Like is she drugged? Like, what are we doing? So
yeah, right. Yeah. We should admit that we met on the internet. So I had a great deal of ability to,
he's really good with words.
Yeah. Exaggerate the
Zach has got game and Shauna's not that bright. That's what I'm picking.
There you
go. So the one piece of totally uninvited feedback I would give is don't know what your plans are for the future, and obviously don't need to get into that just because that's not what we're here about. But I don't generally coach non-married people to be partners. Not because, although I am kind of old-fashioned, but that's not the reason. I've just seen any sort of partnership. And this is experiential, right? I've been in a forum with other, anywhere from 8 to a dozen entrepreneurs for a decade. And wholly a third of the problems were, I want to kill my partner, right? They are just and these are usually partners not, in a romantic relationship, and they're just ready to kill each other. So you guys seem absolutely awesome. If marriage is impending, make that happen. If it's not, I would really encourage you to have one person be a partner and the other person contribute in a different way. Again, do what works for you. And I know you didn't ask, and you do what you want. You guys are the owners, but it's just for everybody in that situation, not coming from a judgy standpoint, coming from I desperately want to see you succeed. And that's a deal breaker. Like when there's 2 or 3 things that could blow up a business, those are what I want to know about. Not having insurance, not paying your sales tax or payroll withholding, partner issues. Those are kind of the big things. Like if you want to blow something up, that's a good way to do it. And I'll tell you, people only fight because most of every partnership works the same. At the beginning, it's roses, right? Oh, this is amazing. And then it's for some period works okay to amazing. And then at another, and then the only time people get weird and do crazy things is when there's no money, right? So when things are going terrible, all of a sudden Zach or Shauna or Mike act in a way that you're like, wow, that's really uncharacteristic of them. But when I have to decide whether I'm going to literally feed my kid or pay my electric bill or meet my commitment to you as a partner, it's a tough decision, right? Even though Mike's like, man, he's always been honest. All of a sudden now he does something that you're like, wow, he's nutty. Or when things go really well. So when it does become a super successful million or multi-million dollar business making a ton of money, now all of a sudden people get crazy with money. So anyway, just that's as much for everyone else as it is for you. Nothing specifically about you guys like, oh, I know you two, you're going to fit. Not at all. You guys seem very sweet together.
Sure.
Yeah. I just, anytime there's a big hole like that, hey, this could take you down. I just want to, it would be irresponsible of me to go over it. So I would really encourage you either, partner up for life, and not that that's a guarantee, but at least
Mike's politely telling me to step up my game.
Well, I didn't assume maybe Zack wants to get married and Shauna's not. You look at her, it seems unthinkable, but here we are. I did the same thing, by the way. My wife chased me for 4 years. People look at her and be like, "Are you kidding me?" And I'm the same way. I'm like, I'm good with words. I'm really charming. I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah. It's the humor.
Yeah, fellas, look at me. Really look at Zack. Look at Shanna. Look at my wife.
Just let her laugh at me.
We're both funny fellas. Do the math. Do the funny math. All right. We're like 74 minutes in and have talked nothing about cleaning other than me giving them advice they haven't asked for. Maybe isn't even helpful. What is actually going on in your life? How can I help you today on advice you actually do want?
So we kind of already have hinted at it, but we are working in a very rural area. By rural, I mean 7,500 people make up the largest city in a county about 2/3 the size of Vermont. Right. So we got 45,000 people spread over a huge area. 7,500 of them have managed to center in at least a relatively dense area, but all of that is relative to an urban area, and it is extremely rural. We're wondering, is that a niche in of itself to specify such a small population? Or in other words, can a rural area be a niche in of itself?
Right.
Gosh, that's so good. So let me answer your question a couple ways. First of all, no, I would not say the rural area is a niche. So I wouldn't say just because I'm in Montauk, California, and there's only 8,000 people or 7,000 people in Montauk, California, that's a niche. No, it's because a niche is really people that share the same pain. So, I mean, if maybe a grocery store might be a niche, right? Because my pain is I can't get eggs. I have to drive 3 hours for eggs. We all share that same pain. I will pay $6 for your eggs here as opposed to $3 for your eggs 2 hours down the road. That would be a niche. When it comes to services that you're delivering to their house, unless there are no cleaning services and we all desperately want it, that's kind of a niche, but really it's shared pain. So that doesn't mean you're going to market or conduct your business the same as other people. We're still going to talk about how to do it differently, but that doesn't. I just don't want to say, yeah, that's a niche, because I would say it's not. All right, just so I've got the numbers straight: 7,000 or 8,000 people in your immediate town, 45,000 in how far? You said a big area, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, an hour, 6 hours?
Yeah, we happen to be in a pretty central location for the county. So of that 45,000 people, we're in the center, and they're within an hour and a half.
Okay.
Out from there.
Yeah.
So the 8,000 that we're talking about obviously are in a much more a smaller area, but the actual decent sized population is
out.
Yeah, out.
And that's kind of why we're leaning more towards hitting Wairika as the town central and trying to do the commercial side of it. That's where pretty much most of the businesses are.
Okay, so so this is good information. Just a little background I think I shared with you off air, but I want the world to know. I actually started at Grand Junction, Colorado. There's about 50,000 people in that area in like 20, 25 minutes. So not even to the degree that you guys are dealing with, but I didn't kind of have the feedback that I'm going to give you guys and everyone else in those kinds of areas. And it was very frustrating because my expectation was to build $1 million commercial cleaning business. And I don't want to say it wasn't possible, but it would have been certainly just in that space of commercial cleaning, highly unlikely. And it would have been easier to just do some other stuff. So I'm just going to round to the nearest 1,000, 7,000 within 10 minutes, 50,000 within an hour and a half. What kind of population do we have within 30 minutes?
It's so dispersed because once you get outside of the city, you're talking about ranches. So you're talking about multi-100 acre or even 1,000 acre ranches. So there might be within a half hour, there might be another 8,000 to 10,000 people, but they're still spread in such a way that they're somewhat inaccessible by nature of the county.
Yeah, you're getting to Mount Shasta by then, which is the next town.
And it's 3,000
And it's
people.
3,000.
Okay, so within 30 minutes, we're 10,000 people, but those 10,000 people aren't subdivisions where you can clean this guy and his neighbor. I mean, you could clean this guy and his neighbor, but it's a 10-minute drive or 5-minute drive.
Yes.
And you know, ranching community is very self-sufficient.
Okay, so what I hear you saying is that community is not even likely to hire cleaning service
of any kind.
Rare.
Yeah.
Okay. So a couple things, and I don't know if it's good or bad, but I wish I would have had this when I was your age. First, let's not pretend that that's not real. For some reason, I was so dumb when I was a kid. I was like, man, because I grew up in Phoenix, which is several million people in the metro. And that seemed overwhelming to me. Like, oh, it's too big and scary with all this insurance. And I thought in a small town somehow it'd be like less scary. Opposite, much harder. Because obviously I was like, there's so many competitors and they're smarter and better than I am. So what? There's so many more customers. So all that to say, rural's tough. I don't want to be a downer, but I also don't want to just be like, oh, it's fine. You'll build that, that's not helpful to just like lie to you. So now that I understand how big you are, what are your goals? Because again, if I'm like, you'll never build a $10 million cleaning company in that area, I can pretty confidently say that, not because you're dumb, because even if you had 100% of the people, it still wouldn't do it.
It's not going to happen.
But if your goals aren't $10 million, who cares, right? So what kind of goals do you have in terms of gross revenue for your company? So we can, because again, all we need to do is hit your goals.
So I think based off of what we would consider a reasonable 20% profit margin, gross revenue in the realm of $500,000 to $700,000 a year would be viable. Part of the reason that we like this area is because the cost of living is so cheap. It's hard to make money, but it's cheap to live, and we don't have to deal. It's a 30-minute drive to some places, but it's 30 minutes of driving, not 15 minutes of driving and 15 minutes of sitting in traffic at a stoplight. So
I love, there's so many things packed into that. First and foremost, I love, so many people miss this. They're just like, I've cleaned myself and I charge $200 a month and I keep $200. I have a little bit of supplies and a little bit of cell phones. So if I had a $20,000 business, maybe I'd keep 18,000 of it. It's like, no, not if you have a real business. If you want to be a cleaner, sure, you can keep, if you just want to be a
self-employed,
right. If you want to be a boxing coach, you probably keep whatever boxing coaches pay. But if you want to own a boxing coaching place, you got expenses. So I love that Zach right off the bat said, I'm not going to keep anywhere near 100% of the money. I'm going to keep 20% of the money and then reverse engineer. So I need to be here. Honestly, I'm not smart enough at math to be like, will that size of a town sustain that size of a business? But if that's, I don't say that's all if I'm minimizing your goals, because I'm not, but that seems within reason. So first and foremost, I'm like, okay, if you're looking for a $5 million, $3 million thing, I'm like, maybe it's possible. I don't know how. Like, I just don't know how. If you're looking for a $500 $1 million thing, still may not be possible, but I can give you some tools that'll help get you there. Okay, so there's two things I want to go over. First and foremost, and they're going to sound contradictory, but they're not. When we said that's not really a niche unless they all share pain, so be it. So I'm going to say two things. One, if you're going to grow to even a $500,000 business in that size, I'm guessing you're not going to be able to do it with just commercial cleaning. I don't know how many square feet of. Okay, and it's a good concern, and it's probably right. So you might have to do the opposite of what I'd coach people to do in a metro area, right? Which is add more services. And again, I don't like to, this is a very difficult way to do it. I'm not, pleased if this is your first show, don't be like, Mike wants me to like do everything. I do not, but
we'll make sure that's why we're here.
We're the exception.
Or the, I don't know, 20% of the people listening. It's not like you and one guy in Vermont. Like it's a good amount. There's thousands of people out there going, I got like me and two guys. What am I supposed to do to make a living? Maybe we're lucky to have a Shanna, but that's it. There's no one else. Where's Shanna? I'm going to make you blush.
Right. I'm going to look awful. And it's all my.
No, blushing's good. It's like, oh, I'm so happy.
Right.
So yeah, I would add more services. It's so counter to what I'd like to say, but to hit the goals that you need, you're probably going to at least need commercial and residential cleaning. Because I just don't know square footage wise, if you just do the X amount of dollars per square foot per dollar or per year and multiply out.
We probably have a town that adds up about to one large office building in an urban area.
If you've got like 1 million square foot of office space a year, and that just is, I just don't know the total amount, and to expect that you're going to have 100% of it, well, that's unreasonable as well.
That's unreasonable.
So usually 10% is a good, from in a larger market, 10% is what I kind of look at to go, I don't want to say I'm satiated, but it gets more expensive to get customers after that. For you guys, it might be 50%, right? There might not be 7 cleaning. Oh, God forbid if there's 7 cleaning companies in your place. So one other or one?
Yeah. We have one actual cleaning company and there's numerous self-employed individuals that think they're a business.
Okay, which is good. So you just have to identify who you can compete with and who they can't. So if I've got, I'm a chiropractor and I've got a 1,200 square foot office and I need to clean once or twice a week, that guy that is competing with you as a self-employed guy, you're going to have a hard time with, right? Because you can't niche. I might be the only chiropractor, so you can't be like, we specialize in only do chiropractors. I'm like, I know there's just me.
We do all 2 of you.
Right, yeah. Like, okay. So I'd really look for, if you want to be a real business and hire people, now you got to get the big companies where I'm like, I've got a 50,000 square foot facility. I need people here 7 days a week. And I need things like insurance. And I can't hire Bob the cleaner. I need a real company. So first and foremost, I would say you're probably gonna have to offer more services. And second, that doesn't negate niche marketing. So niche marketing just says it's so much. So when we first started, you're like, oh my gosh, you're huge in this little space. You own, as a coach for cleaning companies, you're really accessible. We know you, we like you, we trust you. 2 years ago, nobody knew me in this space. Is it because I'm a genius? Good Lord, no. It is because there's only 50,000 cleaners in the United States, and I don't know how many are global. So it's pretty easy for me to get to be a hero or a big name in that tiny little space. I'm able to communicate with you guys. I know your pain better than anybody else. So the concepts of niche marketing and being easier to market in a niche are the same. You guys just don't have any niches that are. You're still going to try to do it to the best of your ability, but you can't have a website and landing page. You can't set up entire marketing funnels for niches. You're just going to have to go get them. So I'm not saying you're not going to try to niche market, but you're just going to have to attack 3 or 4 niches or 5 niches at a time.
Yeah. And we're aware of, for one, we kind of had expected to do both residential and commercial. We're also aware of a couple of niches or a couple of groups of people that are the high earners in this county. So in our county, there is the medical clinic that provides, and a medical center rather, that provides the largest number of high paying or high salaried jobs. Right. And so we know that clinical staff and clinical support staff are without doubt the most likely residential clients due to the schedule and the money that they earn, allowing that for the perfect storm, right, of needing and being able to afford cleaning, having the pain that would require it, all that. When it comes to businesses, like you said, there is no single business type that adds up to more than 2 or 3 or maybe 5,
right?
Like in the case.
There's just, So 2 things. I want to make sure I'm being super clear. One, we might have to take more niches, more verticals, right? Hospitals, chiropractors, the hospital, the car dealership, the chiropractor, the whatever. We got 2 McDonald's. Oh, good. Good God. We got multiple McDonald's. Restaurants might be one, right? There might be 4 or 5 or 6 of them.
Yes.
So we're going to have to take on multiple verticals, i.e. niches, simultaneously, which I don't usually like, because it's like, well, you're just going to be sucky at all of them. Well, guess what? Everyone's sucky at all of them.
Right.
So that's the first thing.
Yeah.
And the second thing is more services. So in here, I might go just do residential cleaning. For you guys, you might consider doing window cleaning, pest control, changing air filters, landscaping, pools, if you're in an area that they have pool cleaning services. So you can raise the ticket item, right? Because that's how you can compare or compete with Bob the pool guy is, again, he's cleaning himself. So how are you going to actually pay an employee to do it plus do it yourselves? Well, because they pay you $500 a month and you do the cleaning, the pool, the pest service, everything all at once. And again, huge disclaimer, I would not, these are very different businesses. If you're in a big city, do not do this. But if you're in a small town, again, the pain that your people have is probably there's no professionals out here, right? I'm guessing if I came in and put in a like people, anyone that's lived in a small town knows it's, if I'm in a small town, you're in a small town, and we're bragging like, you have a Costco? No, we don't. We got a Costco. How about a McDonald's? Well, we got 2. We only have 1 McDonald's. But what about we got a Carl's Jr. These franchise things, like the smaller town folks, even though they have made that choice intentionally, and God bless you, by the way, for saying we want our lives first and our business second, right? The business exists to support you guys, never the other way around. So never knocking your choice. If that's where you want to live, that's fantastic. But even small town folks are like, they want that kind of big town service. So I'm guessing everyone's like, I want quote unquote a real cleaner, right? I'm sick of, I know Susie and she's great and I know her kids, and when their kids get sick, she doesn't clean, and that's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a quote unquote a real thing. Just like we've got Bob's Diner, but everyone wants the McDonald's, right? Because they want so that if I were you, that's kind of what I would be creating is quote unquote a real company. I would go overboard on, we've got the way that we train, the way that people speak to, the way that it's ma'am and sir. We don't have a bunch of tattooed people if that's something that's going to offend your people, and the uniforms are crisp and nice, and we're going to be, that would be probably what I'd go for in terms of a real company. Only way to be able to do that is have multiple services. So if I'm sending people, and that's the other thing we haven't even talked about, it's gonna be hard if you get employees, right? Because if there's only 7,500 people, how many might be like 31 people looking for a job at any given point, and how many of those want to work with you guys?
Right.
Yeah.
So
2,000 unemployed, but only 37 of them looking for a job.
Yeah, a big difference between unemployed and wanting a job. Yeah,
yeah.
Don't even get me started on that rant.
Yeah.
So yeah, multiple services that you charge a premium for, only work with the people that have money. And then I would also, and again, I love the cleaning business, it's fantastic. But if I woke up in your area, I'd be like, what can I do to leverage my time? So like with a podcast, this has worked great. I do virtually nothing to get customers other than this, and people come to me and I help them. Some of my clients are like, hey, should I do a podcast? You could, but it would work differently. It's not going to bring you a bunch of customers because you might have, say you have 100,000 listeners. God bless you. How many are within 30 miles of where you are?
Right.
You got 26. Okay. So I would be looking to leverage, right, something that you could do either online or in other cities, or something where it wasn't dependent on the employees that you had. Now, if you just want to do 500 to 750, I think you could do that with a network of 3 or 4 small businesses that all had the same concept. I'm going to send people to your home to do work for money. And we're still going to have unique selling proposition. We're going to be different in that it's not Zach going out and cleaning. It's Zach's employee who's trained and skilled and looks good and does a different job than, Mike going out with his bucket trying to clean something personally. So those are the things I do. I'd add more services. I'd add more verticals or niches, commercial and residential. And then I would try and find a way to leverage what I did online somehow, right? Like compete with me and teach people how to run and clean. I mean, you have to be successful first, but if you had some sort of way you could leverage your skills or something outside of your town with it. Before the internet, I always drive through these little towns. I'm like, that guy owns the gas station. That guy owns the grocery. That guy owns the one thing. Yeah. There's some farmers that, what on God's green these people do? Like, how do you make money? Now with the internet, it's like, okay, there's at least a possibility. So if I woke up in your shoes, that's what I would do. More verticals, more services, and look for a way to leverage the value I had in the world to non people within 30, with outside of the 8,000 people that I could service physically. And if I was looking for a niche to do that, so here's a great way. You're like, I can compete with Mike. He's got 2 years on me, all this experience. You know where you could kill me? You could kill me in how to build a 6-figure business in a town of less than 20,000.
Right.
See how that niche, even though I'm like, oh, I've got 20 years of business, I'm this, I'm that, and the other, you should still be able to compete with me. That's how powerful niches are. Right. So that's kind of what I'd look for, is that niche of, maybe I can't sell to business owners or even owners of cleaning companies, but owners of cleaning companies in towns less than 20,000, I know how to do that.
Right.
And there's only, 7,000 of them or whatever. Right. And again, I wouldn't even do how to start a cleaning company that's too small. I'd say how to start a business in a tiny town. Right. You'd be shocked how many people be into that. So that's what I got. We've run way long because we spent 4 hours on Shanna and why she's with Zach and what's going on and when the wedding's going to be. And I tried to cram a little good stuff in there. Any questions or needs before we hit the lightning round? I'll let you guys give Clean Nation some quick feedback.
No, that was great information. I definitely don't think we had heavily considered the idea of any kind of online addition to our business here. We definitely had considered the idea of expanding our services that we provide to the customers in our area, with the only limitation being that I didn't want to add services that I couldn't train someone else to do and provide workman's comp for that individual to do. Right. Scalable, of course, by the advice of Mike.
Love it. All right, let's do the lightning round really quick because we wasted all of our time on, I don't even know, but ridiculousness, basically. I'll let one of you answer each. You get to pick which. What's the best piece? But actually, I'll pick randomly. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received? Shanna. Zach's been doing most of the talking. Hit me, Shanna.
Definitely, if you're honest, you don't have to remember anything or conjure up a story. So definitely just be honest up front with people in general. You never know if they're going to be a client. So.
Anyone that disagrees with that is insane. Who's going to be like, no, I think you should yeah, of course. That's fantastic advice. And good Lord, who doesn't want to deal with the honest people?
Right.
All right, Zach, to you, biggest mistake. This is interesting because you're new. So biggest mistake you made in the cleaning business in your young life?
For us, it's kind of a combination of waiting too long for the reason of, or because we've handicapped ourselves by being our own biggest obstacles with unwarranted doubt and irrational fear. We became the biggest hindrance between us being unemployed and us being business owners. And so that was hands down, being our own obstacle was the biggest mistake we ever made.
Gosh, and on that, Zack and Shanna mentioned beforehand, they're part of the Clean Profit Method. Clean Profit Method, especially those of you that are from smaller rural towns, please jump into the not the big Facebook group, but the Clean Profit. I mean, obviously you can do it in the big Facebook group too, but the Clean Profit Method Facebook group, and let's give this guy and gal some love. And really, I would start that as a smaller support group, right? Because not that I don't want to help you guys, but I'm not currently. I live in Phoenix, so you're like, yeah, okay, jerk. So I would really encourage. Those of you who aren't parts of Clean Profit Method, we still have a free Facebook group. There's like 3,000 people in it, so it's a little harder to get. More likely that you'll find someone in a small town, but a little hard to get intimate and kind of know each other. Clean Profit Method, I think there's less than a couple hundred people in there. So anyone rural, Zack and Shann, if you want to post, hey, it was just on the podcast. Any of the rural folks out there want to kind of connect, and then rural folks hook these people up. Like this, you guys have a tough job. Let's not go it alone, right? When Zack's like, we had self-doubt and we didn't. What I hear is lack of community. I didn't have anyone tell me you can do this thing or it's successful. So whether it's a Clean Profit Method community or a different community, seek that out, right? If you're feeling, I can't do this, I don't know, I'm scared, that's showing you need a community. And you guys have each other, which a lot of Clean Nation doesn't. They're by themselves, but we need even more than that because, it can be tough. All right, last question. We'll go back to Shanna. What's one idea, super simple and easy, that Clean Nation could put into practice right away as soon as the show's over that can improve their lives even just a little bit?
Recognize when it's time to put it away. Don't exceed the point of depreciating returns in regards to your time, whether it's professional or personal. So just remember that it's not 100% of your daily life.
It should be. It can be. It can be. Zack, pay attention if you're not. Without being sexist, generally men pay attention to this. We're the ones that fail more often than not. Not that females can't, but fellas, everyone listening out there that goes, that's not me. Look at your calendar. Let's see. That's great feedback. Zack, Shanna, thank you so much for joining us. I really dig your story. Thank you for your transparency and just sharing where you're at. I appreciate you. I know Cleaning Nation appreciates you. Cleaning Nation, if you want to check out Zack and Shanna's show notes page, it's all at growmycleaningcompany.com, as well as everything I've ever done in the last 20 years of my life. I had to build a business, growmycleaningcompany.com. Check it out. I'll see you there.
Congratulations! You are now 16% smarter. Still can't get enough cleaning goodness? Go to www.growmycleaningcompany.com for more of the good stuff. Ever want to be rich and famous? Owners of cleaning companies, as well as industry experts, can apply to be featured on the show by emailing our producer Natalie at support@growmycleaningcompany.com. Until then, don't miss out on all the latest cleaning industry lovin' at www.growmycleaningcompany.com. Check it out now.